politician. Our correspondent Zaina Khoda is still with us, I hope, on the line from Beirut. Zaina, I know the details are sketchy, but tell us what you know and about this particular area of Beirut.
Yes, Kamal, the details are still sketchy, and we're still trying to reach the bomb site. Like I mentioned earlier, there's a lot of traffic and ambulances. We've seen ambulance heading to the bomb site. Some security sources saying there are a lot of injuries, as you mentioned, 5 dead and 20 wounded. The target is not known. We still do not know who or what the target is, but there are real fears that this is a politically motivated killing. The last assassination in Lebanon was in June the 14th, where we saw an MP, Walid Eido, a car bomb killed him in the heart of Beirut. Now, Sinofil area is in the eastern suburbs of Beirut, and we still do not know who or what the target is, like I mentioned, but the bombing comes just a few days before Parliament is expected to meet to elect a president, a session which is unlikely to vote. I mean, we're not going to see, as far as opposition MPs have been saying, they are not going to head down to Parliament to vote for a president because there is a disagreement between the opposition and the pro-government camp. So the political crisis really heightened tensions in Lebanon, and now with this bombing will definitely cause more anxiety in a country that has not seen stability now for the past 2.5 years, ever since the killing of the former Prime Minister Rafiq al-Hariri.
And on that note, Zaina, what is the resilience of the Lebanese people like? You mentioned all these bombings, assassinations which have happened in the last few years. I mean, under that sort of thing, you can include the war, Hezbollah in Israel, Nahar Beirut, just so much destruction around them, so much uncertainty. What is the resilience of the Lebanese people like to this now?
Well, when you talk to a lot of Lebanese, a lot of them will tell you that they don't make any plans before November. We do know that the outgoing president's term ends in November the 23rd. Most of them have put off their plans. A lot of them are trying to find a way out of the country. The economy has been in a standstill ever since the political crisis erupted in November last year. The situation really is very dire, and people are scared. People are anxious. There's a lot of stress. People don't know what to expect. Over recent days, we have heard politicians accuse each other of rearming and rearming their groups. We do know that a number of the officials in the government and just politicians in Lebanon were former militia leaders during the war. So you have a lot of talk about rearming and a lot of security fears in Lebanon.
Zaina, you mentioned earlier when we were talking about this sort of string of attacks and assassinations, you mentioned Walid Eido back in June. He was, as I understand it, a Sunni MP, this time targeting a Christian area. We're not saying definitively it's targeting a politician, but I guess it shows that no one's safe here. It's just a whole plan, if you like, to destabilize any part of the political process in Lebanon.
This is true, Kamal, but you'll have to repeat just the last part because we just arrived next to the site and there's a lot of chaos here.
Okay, well, seeing as you have arrived there, can you actually see anything from your eye line there?
No, we will have to approach by foot because the road has been blocked.
Okay, then.
But what were you saying?
I was just asking you, you'd mentioned Walid Eido before, who, as I understood it, was a Sunni MP assassinated earlier this year. This time something happening in a Christian area. I guess it's showing that no one's really safe here, that it's a whole way of destabilizing the entire political process, whatever the faction might be.
That is true. That is true. To destabilize Lebanon as well, and to say that there will be no stability here if there is no solution to the political crisis. You have to know that what is taking place today is a political. It's a political division. It's not a sectarian division like we witnessed years before during the Civil War, which ended in 1990. People are divided along political lines. It's two very different political agendas that both sides are fighting for. It's really the future of Lebanon, its identity. What is Lebanon? What is its position going to be? We've heard the opposition accuse the pro-government camp of working for American interests in Lebanon and turning this state into, in their words, an American satellite state. You hear the pro-government camp, the March 14 camp as they are known, they say what the opposition wants to do is bring back Syrian influence in Lebanon. And we know that the Syrians left Lebanon in April 2005. So it's really a very political division. That's what's going on in Lebanon, more than sectarianism.
This is Al-Jazeera, the news hour, breaking news from Beirut in Lebanon, the Lebanese capital, where a car bomb has exploded in an eastern suburb of the capital, a predominantly Christian suburb, as our correspondent Zaina Khoda was telling us. Various reports coming through. 5 dead is the latest report we are getting, along with 20 wounded. In our sister channel, Al Jazeera Arabic, of course working in conjunction with them, they believe that this did indeed target a member of parliament, a politically motivated attack. Not clear if it's actually killed the member of parliament, if it was attacking anyone there. As I said, Zaina Khoda is on the line, our correspondent from Beirut at the moment. Zaina, are you actually any closer to the scene? Can you actually see anything where you are just yet?
Yeah, we just arrived to the bombing site, and there's a lot of damage, a lot of material damage. 2 buildings. You can see all the apartments in the 2 buildings. Their windows have been blown out. A lot of people in the street. They're trying to clear the debris. I just spoke to an army soldier who I just came across right now, and he told me he doesn't know who or what the target is, but everyone is crowding around the area. But I can tell you there is a lot of material damage.
Well, I might be able to clear it up a little bit more. We are getting a report through here from Antoine Zara, the Lebanese Forces MP, speaking on our sister channel Al Jazeera Arabic, confirming that Antoine Ghanem, a Christian MP from the Phalanges Party, the Jamail Party, was actually killed in this blast. I'll repeat that Antoine Ghanem, a Christian MP from the Phalanges Party affiliated with the Jamail family, the Jamail Party, was apparently killed in this blast. Zaina, it's what we thought, a targeted political killing, just one in a string of many, it would seem.
Yes, it's true, and this is what everyone feared, that this would be a politically motivated crime. And being that he is a member of the Phalange Party and in a Christian area, there's something that we didn't really talk about, and it's really the division within the Christian community. Ever since this political crisis began, we've seen the Christian community, particularly the Maronite community, divide. And they have witnessed a lot of tension among their ranks. And it all started with the killing of the minister, Pierre Jmeil. And that was in November 2006. And when he was killed, we saw Christian supporters from 2 different camps. We know that the Christians are divided between the government and the opposition. In the opposition, their leader is General Michel Aoun. In the government pro-March 14 camp, you have a number of Christian leaders, like the Phalange Party head, the former president Amin Jmeil, the father of the slain minister, as well as Samir Jaja, who's the head of the Lebanese forces. So this is definitely going to put more pressure and more tension within the Christian community. This is what we've been witnessing. And approximately a month ago, on August the 5th, when the by-elections were held, we saw the Christian community divide when we saw supporters from General Michel Aoun he fielded a candidate against former President Amin Jmeil. And at the end of the day, when they were counting the ballots, we saw supporters from both sides head to the streets, and they were going to clash if their leaders did not tell them to go back home. So this
Zaina, I'm really sorry. I'm going to actually interrupt you there, because I'm going to cross to another telephone line where we've got Naila Mouawad, the Lebanese Minister of Social Affairs, on the line from Beirut. Ms. Mouawad, thank you very much for joining us. Can you tell us anything more on the situation?
First of all, it's not an incident. It's a mean and clear assassination. It's clearly an attempt to diminish the numbers of members of parliament of the majority and of the 14th of March forces. It's the ongoing assassination and violence and oppression that started with the attempt of assassinating Minister Marwan Ahmadi, and today it's another assassination. It proves clearly that there is not an opposition. There is a mainstream led by Iran and Syria that want to put hold again on Lebanon against sovereignist forces that they are being killed one after the other. And I think it's the end of any initiative or any dialogue. We will not dialogue with murderers, and we will not dialogue on the blood of our martyrs.